Hello and welcome to my presentation. I am doing my presentation on a geography field trip of Carrick and Shannon for pupils within their junior cert cycle. The contents of my presentation. Firstly, we will look at the learning outcomes. Secondly, a rationale or reason for my choice of activity or field trip. I will give a brief overview of the town of Carrick and Shannon and of the River Shannon. I will then discuss my chosen teaching and assessment methods and how these methods link to the relevant key skills for the junior cert cycle. Lastly, I will look at how this content is cross-curricular with other subjects, such as history, art and English. The learning outcomes. After this presentation, you should have a clear understanding of the reason and rationale behind the field trip, a clear understanding of the area of Carrick and Shannon and how it is relevant to content, how teaching and assessment methods will be used during this field trip, how the teaching of this field trip has incorporated the relevant key skills for the junior cert cycle, and lastly, how this field trip is cross-curricular with other subjects. Rationale or reason for choice of field trip. Carrick and Shannon, Rock of the Marshy Ridge, is the largest town in Leitrim. The town sits on the longest river in Ireland. The town and river is relevant to the junior cert cycle course. The field trip will allow the students to appreciate the town's history and culture. We will visit the following places on the field trip. Firstly, the workhouse. Secondly, the famine graveyard. Third, the dock. And lastly, the River Shannon itself. Students will be given worksheets to fill out and take notes from each location. Pupils will do so in pairs to encourage pair work. So firstly, I will give you an overview of the town of Carrick and Shannon. Carrick and Shannon is the largest and county town of County Leitrim. It is the smallest county town in all of Ireland. It has a population of 3,980 people. It is situated at a strategic crossing point of the River Shannon. The town is located on the N4, linking Dublin in the east to Sligo in the west. The town itself straddles the River Shannon, meaning part of the town is in Roscommon and part of it is in County Leitrim. Here is a map which shows the location of Carrick and Shannon. As we can see, the main roads which link off Carrick and Shannon are the Leitrim Road, the Dublin Road, the Elphin Road and the Croghan Road. Our field trip will begin at Carrick and Shannon Community School. Here we can see an image of Carrick and Shannon Community School. We will visit the following sites on the trip. Firstly, the workhouse. Here is a poem which was wrote by a resident of the workhouse, M.J. McManus. They carved the date above the gate, 1849, when they built the workhouse on the hill of limestone, tall and fine. The people came to drink the soup, ladled from greasy bowls. They died in whitewashed wort that held 1,000 Irish souls. M.J. McManus was born in the workhouse in Carrick and Shannon. It is one of 3 workhouses which was built in Leitrim at a cost of 11,000. It was built to accommodate 800 people. This building today is now used as a nursing home. Here we can see on the map where the workhouse itself is located. Next we will visit the famine graveyard. The graveyard is situated behind the workhouse. People who died in the workhouse, many of which were children, are buried here. Graves are unmarked, therefore the amount of people buried here is unknown. It is estimated thousands of people are buried here in this graveyard, but we do not know as there is no record which was kept. Here we can see an image of a memoir in the famine graveyard. Next we will visit the dock. The dock building is a former 19th century courthouse which overlooks the River Shannon. It has been restored to Leitrim's first integrated centre for the arts. The dock itself houses a 100+ seat performance space, 3 art galleries, artist studios, cafe bar, an arts education room, and it is home to the Leitrim Design House. The centre offers something for everyone, from performances and exhibitions to classes and workshops. As we can see, this will be useful for children within their junior cert cycle as it incorporates art, literature, music. Here we can see an image of the River Shannon and the towns which it runs through. Next, we will visit the River Shannon itself. The Shannon is the longest river in Ireland at 360.5 kilometres. It drives the River Shannon Basin, which has an area of 16,865 kilometres squared. In fact, 1/5 of the area of Ireland itself. It divides the west of Ireland from the east and south. The key skills which this field trip shall incorporate: firstly, managing information and myself. After this field trip, pupils will be able to comprehend what we are doing on the field trip and the relevance of each place to the history and geography of Carrick-on-Shannon. Secondly, staying well. Pupils are getting outdoors and getting the opportunity to socialise with one another. Thirdly, creative. Pupils will get the opportunity to view art in the dock and to observe the effect the river has had on the physical landscape of Carrick-on-Shannon. Fourth, managing myself. Pupils will have to manage their own assignment to the worksheet, which will be due the following day. Working with others. Pupils will do their assignments in pairs and work together. Lastly, communication. Pupils must listen and communicate with their teacher and one another during the field trip itself. How is this field trip cross-curricular? This trip is cross-curricular with history through the famine graveyard and the workhouse. This trip is also cross-curricular with art and English, as the dock caters for the arts through art, music and literature. Thirdly, numeracy. This trip incorporates numeracy through the use of numbers and worksheet questions which involve figures and statistics for the Shannon, the population, etc. And lastly, literacy. The keywords would be provided on the worksheet, such as Shannon, erosions, famine, etc. A word search would also be part of this handout on keywords.